everybody, welcome back to the channel. I want to say a big welcome to all the new subscribers. I got a question. I'm going to go there. I know I'm going to get beat up probably a little bit from some of these real good builders out there. You know, the professional engine builder. Try not to beat me up too bad. So this question came from a subscriber, and I'm going to do the best I can with it. And so I got to get a few things set up, so I'll get that set up and be right back. And we'll go into that territory, and I want to say a big welcome again to all the new subscribers. So give me a second. Okay, continuing on with this vid here. I almost feel like I'm going to open a can of worms here. And just keep in mind, this is just my opinion. The question, I believe, was from Ren90. And if I remember the question right, it was, can you rebuild one of these like mid-90s Evinrudes that call for this particular tool, special tool 396749. 396749. My opinion on it is I didn't always have this tool, and I built several mid-90s motors without it, using the old method, and I'll do a real quick explanation on the old method. I've got several manuals here laid out that mention this tool and so forth, and it's this is what they call the rod alignment kit, and it's just more jaws that go to this tool for certain horsepower motors. And like I said, I didn't always have this tool, and I rebuilt several motors, and I used the old style method. But let me quote what the manual says. It says, note, torquing the rod cap screws without OMC rod cap alignment fixture part number 396749 or using an incorrect procedure, a lot of room there, could cause permanent damage to the connecting rod and crankshaft. To maintain accurate torque values, keep your extension length on your torque rod to a minimum, blah, blah, blah. So, now it gives you that cautionary note in there, but it, you know, nowhere does it say, I guess it insinuates that you shouldn't put these or build these engines without this tool. So what this tool is basically a 3-position alignment device. It aligns the top, and then it cradles both ends of the connecting rod cap. And you torque this, I think it's to 16 inch-pounds once you get your top set, and it's got different marks, set, lock, a little arrow up on the top, and I kind of made them pink. I don't know if you can see them or not, but these lines here have to align where the connecting rod cap and connecting rod meet. That all gets lined up, 1, 2, and 3, and you torque it to 16 inch-pounds. You come through here again with your special tool torque rod end cap. You come down through here and tighten those in 3 stages and so forth. That's really, I mean, this tool's not rocket science in my opinion. Like I said, I know I'm opening a can of worms here. Try not to beat me up too bad. again, it's just my opinion. I've done many of these engines without this tool, and I'm going to even take it further than that. I've taken engines that I was going to build and got everything apart, ready to pull the connecting rod caps off and so forth. Engines that I was going to just re-ring or whatever, and I couldn't believe how much edge was on when I would just, being naturally curious, especially when I was first building these two-strokers and everything, I would scrape where it tells you to, and sometimes my pencil or my scribe would get hung, and this was from factory, and I couldn't believe how sloppy it was. And you know, these connecting rods, of course, if you're at the stage where you're rebuilding one of these, you probably know they're broken. They're not cut or sawn or anything. They're cracked and broken, and that's why they stress in the manual that they have to go back in for in, cap for cap, dot to dot, chamfer to chamfer. And if you've read these manuals, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when I say those things. And before this tool, we all did it that way. We had lined the chamfers up, we'd line the two dots facing the flywheel. We would never let an in for in get swapped or anything. And then we'd use paint markers or Sharpies or whatever to make our marks and make sure they go back. We'd have a clean work surface, lay all our pieces in order. Some people use cardboard and actually trace them out and everything. All that's fine, and all of it works, in my opinion. Do you need the tool? In my opinion, no. A two-stroke engine, you're not building a space shuttle. This tool, I use it because I have it. Would I hesitate building my motor because I did not have this tool? Not in the least. I've built many of them, and in fact, if you go into even the late model engines and get in the lower horsepowers, it don't even mention this tool. So there you go. It's a handy tool. Now it shows the tool mentioned in this manual. This is a 2000 40 through 70. It mentions the tool. Here's a 2000 25 to 35. And the reason why I got this manual out is in this one, not only does it mention the tools, but it mentions the connecting rod jaw set alignment kit. And it'll tell you, for this particular group of motors, the 25 to 35 3-cylinders, it's going to tell you to use a different jaw set than what's currently in there. These are C and D. And it's going to tell you, torque the rod cap screws using OMC rod cap alignment fixture part number 396749, connecting rod alignment. Then it says rod alignment jaw kit part number 437273. And then it tells you use the special torque socket part number 342664. So each one of these jaws has a little letter. Again, this is for the 3-cylinder 2535. It says use A and G, I think it is. Well, each one of these, and you're not going to be able to see it probably, but each one of these has a letter. Each one of these jaws has a letter stamped on the bottom. This one says H. And they just screw into the tool, and it describes how to do that in there. So you've got the alignment tool kit, you've got the alignment tool, the different jaws. Can you do it the old way? Okay. So, again, now this is in the E-Tech manual, because another thing that I've had, which is curious to me, because I've looked at too, the tool's hard to find, and very expensive, hundreds of dollars. And I'm a little curious about that because I've looked online and everything. They mention the tools used in late model E-Techs and stuff, and but yet it's hard to get. So it's almost obsolete, but the manuals tell you to use it even in the late model. So now I'm going to take off the tool. All right, move my special jaw kit. All right, so I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of ways of doing this, but toward the flywheel end of your crank on your connecting rod cap is going to be a little nipple, and on the connecting rod there's going to be a little nipple. Those line up and face toward the flywheel on both connecting rods, or if it's a 3-cylinder, all three, etc. And then if you look, there's a chamfer. Now what I do when I'm doing these, and by the way, even if you have the tool, the manual still tells you to do this. I mark. I use paint pencils and I put a mark on this side. Okay, and I put it on the end facing the flywheel, and then I make a half moon on this, and I do that in one color paint pencil. Okay, I make my half moon and I do it on this side, and you can't see it. I'm not going to paint them yet, but I also make my mark on this side, and then I'll show you the dots once I take it off. Alright, so it's going to tell you that once you have these apart, it's going to tell you, and that's another thing I do is I color. This one will be one color and this one will be another color, my actual bolts, because I want them to stay straight. Alright, then you're going to put this on your nice clean work surface. Okay, if we were building this engine, we'd take our bearing halves and our cages and we would put our pin bearing cages in place. Boom. Alright, now we're going to take this exactly like we took it off. There's the little nipple. You're not going to be able to see it on camera. It's just a little nipple bossed in the cap here. There's also one there. You're going to take it and put it back on there. Alright, and you're going to put in the bolts the way, like I said, they're going to be colored as well. Alright, then you're going to go by your manual. You're going to first hand tighten them. Alright. Alright, you're going to hand tighten them like that. And then some of the manuals I've actually seen say give it a little tap, tap, tap. Alright, and then what you're going to do is you're going to start scribing this, at least on 3 corners. You're going to scribe. Alright, and if it hangs up, you're not right. If you have to loosen them, fine, loosen them. Keep doing that until you get a nice smooth and no hook. The hook don't stop, anywhere. You're going to do that on all the corners. And then you're going to torque it a little more, and again, scribe it. Make sure you're not getting hooked on there. Torque it to the final stage. And if you catch anything, any kind of hang up at all, when you scribe it, back it off a little bit. Give it some little tappings. Keep doing it until it's absolutely smooth. Once you get it absolutely smooth, then go through the torquing sequence again. And of course you're going to put grease on here, a little oil and everything before you do all this. I'm not covering everything. I'm just answering the question, would I rebuild an engine if I didn't have that tool? Yes, I would, and this is the method I would use. It's the same method I've used many times and had no problems with it. And this manual, this is an older manual, it makes no mention of the tool. You see no pictures of the tool. It just tells you to scribe it, take a pencil, your thumbnail. Different people have different ways they like to do it. For me, I like a nice sharp scribe. And you're going to scribe it, tap it, scribe it, tap it. You're going to make sure everything's marked, make sure that everything is in alignment as best you can get it. And like I said, I've seen them where I've taken them apart and I couldn't believe how many places I could hook a scribe on the thing. And so I'm pretty confident I can do as good a job as what I've seen come from the factory. And I'm probably leaving stuff out, but this is just to answer the question, and I think it's totally doable, and I know people do it all over the place, and I have had one of the best builders I know. He laughs at the tool, and he has the tool, but he goes by feel, and that's the way he likes to do it. He's been to the Kent, Washington OMC training center and been trained, and he's about the best I ever knew. He's passed away since, but so that's just my opinion. I know you're going to beat me up, but oh well. I'm trying to think of what else I'm supposed to forget here. But yeah, you put your grease, or excuse me, your oil, and everything, and you get everything just lined up best you can. You torque it. Again, don't use a big long extension. And there was something else I was going to say, and I can't even remember what it was. But that's the gist of it. Do you have to have the tool? Well, if you want to spend the hundreds of bucks, maybe on an engine that ain't even worth a few $100 to re-ring it or whatever, that's up to you. But that's just my opinion, and I hope this helped you out. And like I said, I could go on and on and on about this one subject on doing every little step. Unfortunately, I don't have the time, or I don't even think YouTube would let me do a whole rebuild on YouTube. But that's the gist of the rod cap and the rod cap tool as far as my opinion goes. So thanks for watching.